Julie Waltz will be followed by Donald Myers. Good morning.
Good morning, honorable council members. I'm not council, Board of Supervisors, I'm sorry.
You've been called worse, it's okay.
I do advocate a lot for the First Amendment rights, so I got a little confused. Well, you know, gentlemen and ladies, I'm a little bit, I feel the ramrodding of this ordinance. It's being written on speculation. Residential targeted picketing. And this morning I read in the paper about how Mr. Alhadeff and Mr. Stone and church officials say this ordinance is needed to keep peace and protect the privacy of freedom of religion. Okay, I really don't think anybody's trying to stop anybody from practicing their religious beliefs. A protester has a right to protest, and it shouldn't be limited. Okay? An organization running a business in a neighborhood is not a residence, it's a business. We do not need this ordinance. We have state laws and penal codes that have been upheld by the courts for all protesters who violate the law while protesting. We have Penal Code 415, which is disturbing the peace, Penal Code 602, which is for trespassing. You guys look like you're not even listening to me. Penal Code 240 through 248, which is assault and battery. And then there's Penal Code 594, which I believe is for destruction to religious properties. These are the only sections needed to regulate and control any and all protest sites. These penal codes have worked in the past and will continue to work in the future. Any organization or business or person who is being protested has the constitutional right to call the sheriff's department or the police department and make a police report or a citizen's arrest. They can also hire a lawyer, or I'm sure if they can't afford one, one can be appointed to them. Special interest shouldn't dictate policy for Riverside County or control any government elected official. County council and the sheriffs are overzealous in their efforts to protect one group. Why ultimately violate the rights, the constitutional rights of every citizen, so one group can overshadow everyone else's rights? In today's world, it's apparent that government wants to control every aspect of an individual's behavior and existence. It's not your duty to reinterpret the Constitution of the United States of America to protect your special interest group. And Supervisor Stone, just for the record, I too was one of the people at the Dave and Alan Dokich protest. And I don't recall any air guns going off. The only thing I recall was bullhorns. And the day John and Ken were there were loudspeakers, and that was just one day. And the chairs were furnished by the speakers, by the protesters, because those protesters, we had no other way to petition the government than to go out there and protest, because some people don't have the funds or the attorneys to back them up. The only thing they have is their voice to be heard. And that's how Jessica's Law became about. You even spoke on the KFI show that day.
Julie, your time is up. You're right. I was on your side, and I'll continue to be on your side for these types of
Okay,
instances.
now, I'll wrap this up as quickly as possible. I would just, I am an advocate. You allowed the lobbyist. I'm like a lobbyist. Okay, as for The only one people out there that carried guns were the sheriffs to keep in case anything got out of control, which it didn't. And it was 8.5 months. There was never no violence.
I agree.
And as for the San Diego, the Palm Desert, and the Riverside Ordinance, to my knowledge, no surrounding residents have challenged these ordinances in a court of law.
Your time is up.
Okay, just a second. In closing, just an afterthought. In today's economy, is this county in a position to spend millions of taxpayer dollars? Should this ordinance be challenged or litigated in a court of law by we the people?
Thank you, and I appreciate your comments. For the record, I will remind you that it has been upheld in the Ninth Court of Appeals and the U.S. Supreme Court.
I realize that, but it has never been challenged by residents in the surrounding areas that you insist on, that we can't target picketing. If we didn't target Dave and Alan Dokich, our voices would have never been heard. That was a targeted residential picket.
Exactly, and this does not stop that. It just says you have to be within a certain radius of the home. We showed you what 30 feet was,
But
Laura.
that, excuse me, Mr. Stone, but the organization is not a business. It's not a home. It's a business.
A transitional home that was a business. Okay? Laura, I'm sorry, your time's up. I need to call the next speaker.
Okay, well, I'm going to leave you with the penal codes, a copy of the penal codes.
You leave those.
Please, please, think what you're doing.